Darcy.
These passes and she gives them to
Okay,
us
ready?
down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, ready to start. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. For us, determination quorum, looks like we have everybody here. Everybody's present. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Besides the ones that I have, does anyone have any additions, deletions to the agenda tonight? None from you guys? I do have one. We're going to move 10B up between 6 and 7 on our agenda. 10B is the proclamation, goes up between 6 and 7. Okay. We're going to take also 12B3, and we're going to move that to closed session afterwards. 12B3 goes to closed session afterwards. Okay. So there's no others that you guys know of? Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the?
Make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Nice. Okay. It's unanimous. Okay. I'm going to read the conflict of interest statement. In accordance to the state law, it is the duty of every council member to avoid conflict of interest. Does any council member have any known conflict of interest with respect to any matter on the agenda? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any participation in the matter involved. Any conflicts? No conflicts tonight. Okay, thank you. Mayor and council member reports. Anybody have anything you want to report on? Ed?
The only thing I'd like to mention is that this month's Western Union Municipal Alliance meeting will be at Mineral Springs on the 26th of September at 4 o'clock. Mayor Becker, Rick Becker, is hosting it this month.
Okay. Where's the reminder? Does that go on our town site?
Karen usually puts that on the town webpage.
Okay. So if anybody forgets or
Yes.
doesn't have a chance to write it down, you can always go there and find that information.
And that's all I've got.
Okay.
Trees Union meets tomorrow at 7 in the Wesley Chapel Village Hall. And then there is the Optimist Club is doing a litter sweep. And they are meeting September 14th on a Saturday, 8 a.m. in front of the Optimist Clubhouse at WCWAA. So if you guys have high schoolers or anything that want community hours, that'd be a great thing for them to get involved in.
Okay. Anybody else? Brandon, you're good? Okay. Nope. All right, we'll move on. We are excited tonight to have a couple members from the Halifax Convention chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And we're going to do a resolution for them. And I'd like to have Ashley Corisis, and who is the chapter regent, and Kitty McGordon she's the Constitution Week Committee co-chair. Come on up, guys. And tell us a little bit about who you are and what you guys do, and, give us a little information.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ashley Corisis. This is Kitty McGordon, and we're with the Halifax Convention chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. If you're not familiar with our organization, we were founded in 1890. We're currently about 190,000 strong. We are an all-women's, nonprofit service organization focused on education, historic preservation, and patriotism. And as part of our different activities, one of our committees is Constitution Week. And what you might not know is that our state has a very special connection to Constitution Week, which is celebrated September 17th through the 23rd. Back in 1955, our organization's President General, Gertrude S. Caraway, who's originally from New Bern, North Carolina, petitioned with President Eisenhower that he decree that the week of September 17th to 23rd be Constitution Week. And in 1956, he passed that resolution. And so every year, our organization is tasked with doing our best to promote within the communities that we celebrate our country's founding document. And so today, Mayor Bell, thank you so much. We're truly honored and appreciate the town of Weddington recognizing Constitution Week.
That's awesome. Thank you guys for being here. We want to present you guys with a proclamation, P 2024-03. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principle of limited government and a republic dedicated to the rule by law. And whereas September 17, 2024 marks the 237th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebration which will commemorate it. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, I, Jim Bell, virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Weddington, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd, 2024 as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideas the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the town of Weddington to be affixed this 9th day of September 2024. Okay.
Maribel, if we can get a photo with you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on our agenda, we have a presentation from the Union County Public Schools. And I'm excited to have Kathy Hintel, the Board of Education Chair, and Colin Moore, the Assistant Superintendent for Administration and Operations. Thank you guys for being here. Come on up. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to talk about our bond that the BOC passed the other day, a month ago, maybe? Yes. Okay. Do you have the clicker?
Greg's your clicker.
Okay, cool. Okay. So the first 3 pages, 4 pages, there's 22 years of bonds that we've done, or construction and other things, renovations, projects. Those are the schools in Weddington. The bond for this is for Parkwood High School, $39.4 million for Parkwood High for design. So pre-construction projects. East Union Middle. We're taking East Union over to Forest Hills. We built a new Forest Hills High School. So the old school, we're going to renovate so they can be a middle school. Because right now, East Union Middle is not on the same campus as Forest Hills. And they have to go different places for athletics. So this would help. And instead of building a new middle school, we decided to renovate the old high school. So, okay, why do we need this bond? Aging facilities. East Union, parts of it is in the 1940s, but they say 1952. It's an old building. and we have a lot of facilities needs. And if we take it out of our money that we get from the counties every year, we wouldn't have enough money to do what we have to do. The 24-24 bond will build on provides investments and provide adequate facilities for students. The old high schools or middle schools, the classrooms are smaller than they are now, so we need a more modern facility for high schools. Okay. Do you have anything else for East Union? Okay. These are just some renderings for what it may look like. The new high school, it's going to be ready in a year, right, for Forest Hills. So that would be nice. And so the renovation for the old Forest Hills would be about $37 million. Okay. Bond funds can only be spent for construction and renovation of facilities, to get land, purchase of capital items, but it cannot be used for teachers and staff salaries. Unfortunately, yes. What is a bond? I think everybody knows what a bond is. It's a loan by a local government entities to finance long-term construction projects. So we're asking for $47 million. Again, it's because the amount of money that we need to renovate schools, we need bonds. I think we talked about this. Yes. Okay, so the Board of Education recommended several projects from the law. I'm going to go back a little bit. So about 10 years ago, the county asked us to have a committee to talk about bonds, what we need in the future, a 10-year plan for SBCC and UCPS. And so we met, I don't know, for like a year to do it. And so this is on that plan that we had in Parkwood. Piedmont is after that. We're going to, if it doesn't pass, we would have to work for the county to develop another plan to do this. But the only way we can do it is bonds, basically. Yes, yes. Okay. If the bond passes on November 5, when will the projects begin? Answer that? Yes.
Yeah, we would start construction of the new Forest Hills. I'm sorry, the new East Union once we move into the new Forest Hills. Again, like Ms. Heinzel said, that's scheduled for August of 2025. If we get once we get the funding, typically about 6 to 7 months after the vote is when we would get funding to start design for Parkwood High.
Okay. The question is, my child's school is not on this bond. Why should I be concerned about these projects? A lot of the new buildings in UCPS are on the western side of the county, and now we're taking care of the other side of the county. Their buildings are older than the ones over here, and we try to renovate our schools on the east and west as well, because if we needed something there. We talked about modern aging facilities and safety and things like that. Okay, according to the Union County Board of County Commissioners, the estimated debt service impact is about $4.1 million. If the bond passes and the county increases taxing, it would be $8 per 100,000 in value. So if you have $1,000,000 house, it would be, anyone? Yes, yes. And now we have to, there's a state law now that we have to put all that in there so everybody knows what it's going to cost, and it's 20-year bond. Okay. And Early voting starts on October 17th and stops on November 2nd, and Election Day is November 5th. Thank you. Any questions? Yeah, sure.
The students at East will stay in East until the Forest Hills, formerly High, is it going to turn into Forest Hills Middle of the State East? So until the
Right.
new East Elementary is renovated. And what is the timeline and the expected completion date of the renovation of the soon-to-be middle school?
So we would anticipate starting the renovation in September or October of 2025. We're still working, we're on the design process now, and we would begin having discussions with the contractor. But ideally, with an unoccupied school, we can be in there before the start of the next school year. That would be our goal. That's a very aggressive goal, but don't shoot for the ground, you shoot for the stars.
And a lot of people have asked a question about the East Union right now, what we're going to do with us, and we don't know what to do with it right now.
Anybody else have?
Are these Parkwood, and we're talking about Parkwood and the older high schools, are you talking about?
We'll have to save that for later,
Oh,
okay? It's for the council.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
If I can interject, we have some community meetings listed up here where you're welcome to come and ask questions if any members of the public would like to do that.
And the nearest one to us is
Probably Parkwood.
Parkwood.
We're talking of making Parkwood High School bigger because of Waxhaw and the new developments that's going on in there. So,
Okay, all right, great. September 19th. So,
yes,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you.
Handouts here for you if you'd like to take one. I'll leave
Thank you.
Awesome, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. All right, we're going to move into the public comment section. And just a reminder, we have 4 minutes, and okay, we'll use that later. And first one up is Walt Hogan. And
Good evening. Is this better or worse?
that's better. Thank you, Walt.
Thank you. So it's a quick note. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to go listen to another developer with their grandiose ideas and heard lots of noise, but very little real information. The property has a barn and it has a house, and those are going to be renovated into a mosque and some other something or other, which in my view was probably somewhere around a third of the 7.7 acres of land that this plot has. No mention, nor could you pry it out, what they plan to do with the rest of the plot. And I think the most important thing was that they were not very interested in the fact that Ray Road is right down there. And it's very close. It's very dangerous, even in the daylight when one is driving and the only person on the car on the road. So when you have a unit that's going to have 50 people to start with and probably 500 in the year and a half, continually going in and out there, that's a significant problem. I just want to make sure that you as a council are aware of this particular problem, and perhaps it can be solved and perhaps it can't. I'm not going to try to get into that argument, but I do think it's very important that when a developer comes forward into your realm with time or any place else, that they actually have something that's useful and that's something that's meaningful and something that makes sense. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Walt. Christopher Neve?
Hey, good evening, Christopher Neve, 110 Chasestone Court. This is a follow-up from what I spoke 2 months ago, last time I was here. Wanted to just thank you, Jeff, at the end of the meeting for discussing a little bit further the increase that us as Weddington residents will be paying in our taxes this year with the new budget that was approved. So thank you for expounding on that. That was helpful for me. The meeting that was last Friday, that was held within the city of Charlotte. That threw me off. That's the first community meeting that I've ever seen that was held outside of Weddington. And I don't know if there are parameters that are currently set, but if not, I would like to see parameters set maybe within a certain distance, and maybe these already exist, of town hall, or maybe just simply just say that community meetings should be held within the community in Weddington. So that's one thing that I wanted to propose. The other thing, just as a follow-up from that last meeting of our higher taxes, I discussed some of the reasons why the extra spending that was included in this year's budget. One of those was for the park that's been discussed on numerous occasions. I am not opposed to something being done with that space. What does concern me is I want to make sure we're approaching this from a realistic perspective and addressing it, the ins and outs of what it would take to have an amphitheater and some of the ideas that have been presented. My first concern is that I don't see a lot of residents. I'm not saying residents aren't out there that would like a park, because several of you all expressed that the increase of spending to have a park there is something you would like, and you all are residents as well. But I don't see a line of people pushing for the park, and I would like to see more of that. We saw last year with the referendum that there was a lot of talk about how people wanted to change our form of government. Turned out that wasn't actually true. So I want to make sure we have our pulse on what really people want in Weddington. I'm worried about the workload that hosting events with an amphitheater there would put on our already burdened town staff. That concerns me. I know it was proposed to have a committee. We've had committees in Weddington before. It sounds great, but you need to find the volunteers. Currently, we have no committees right now, but we've had them in the past. So for various reasons, they've fallen apart. It's a lot to ask. People come out quite often these meetings, but it's usually the same few faces. And so I'm concerned about who's going to step up to be on this committee. I'd like to see the committee form before we start having these park conversations. That way they can start putting input in and make sure that committee is actually going to function to be able to plan all these events. Event planning is a whole different ballgame than simply having what's been called a passive park. An amphitheater, in my opinion, is not a passive park. Are dogs allowed? Is alcohol allowed when we host events? There's a whole slew of things that need to be really seriously looked at. Cancellations when weather is bad, things like that. It'll put a great burden on our town staff. And given that the referendum failed last year, I think the vibe of people in Weddington is we don't want to grow out our town to that degree. So I think something incredibly simple there. Again, I'm not against doing something with the space, but I think we need to approach it from a more realistic standpoint and in line with what the Weddington residents want. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Chad?
Good evening, Chad Emerine, 953 Eagle Road. First, I would just like to thank the council, the planning board, and the staff for all the updates we've done to the land use and the UDO so far. And I would like to advocate for the 100-foot buffer minimum that's going to be discussed. This fits in the character of Weddington and our existing neighborhoods. Most neighborhoods, you don't see the houses due to the buffers from the road. Kind of in addition to that, I think something that we should review is the idea of berms. Currently, they're not allowed in our UDO except for commercial, but newer neighborhoods still have them. A lot of existing older neighborhoods still have them. So of whether we rationalize that disconnect there. Also, I think we should review subdivision fees to other subdivision fees compared to other towns. I believe we're lower than other towns are, and as well as maximum cul-de-sac length. We're at 1,200 feet. We've been way lower in the past. Waxhaw's at 400 feet. This is a safety issue, and there are creative ways that we can improve layouts and shorten cul-de-sacs. And then we also need to clarify buildable land as we've made changes to developable land and the yield plans in the UDO with the land use plan updates. Second part is, I know it's a topic tonight, but in the interest of improving transparency, I think we should follow the rules of procedure that we have in place for town council agendas going out 4 days prior and planning board 7 days prior. This includes being online and emailed out to the residents. And this leads into the discussion of the 15 days prior for an application by a developer must be complete before the planning board can consider it being added to the agenda. It is on the application that the developers sign, but codifying will help enforce it. a complete application 15 days prior gives staff the time that they need to fully prepare the reports for the planning board meetings. We've had 2 planning board meetings in a row where developers are not fully prepared and waste staff, planning board, and residents' time. I know some grace was offered because, we have had some transition of staff, and a lot of this was kind of in the works before Greg started. But going forward, I think we should hold firm to the 15 days complete and putting out agendas 7 days prior. As another note, when we do community meetings and new projects, can we get them aligned as far as like when we do the signs, the letters, and the emails, and it goes online, that we can sync that up to where it kind of hits all at the same time? It kind of creates some confusion when there are delays of a sign goes up, but nobody really knows what's going on yet. And you'll see people commenting about things on social media of what is this, those sort of things. Related to that, can we also get developments that are in process on the town's page, even if they're minor subdivisions? I know we have the one for the 3, now 4 lots right up the street, but if there are any more that go to a minor subdivision, which is 6 lots or less, can we also get those on the town's page if there are any in progress? The other thing I was going to mention is the minutes. Is there a way we can get more accurate and detailed minutes? Like, is there a program we can get? I know it's helpful with the streaming and everything now of where you can go back and rewatch some things, but it helps in research if you look back at some really old minutes of, it's almost word for word of what people are saying. And I know we have restrictions as far as staff resources, but I don't know if there's a simple solution of being able to transcribe what's going on.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it. Okay. Next, Wendy Shaw.
Hey, again, I'm here with a little frustration concerning the development of 6901 Weddington Matthews Road. Today I came home and find that clearing's been done all the way to the property line. And after calling the mayor, I then called the town hall, in which I was placed on hold for 19 minutes to try and talk with Greg. Not to mention it took 3 months for me to receive my requested documentation through the Freedom of Information Act. Greg, I want to publicly apologize to you because I've heard repeatedly that you're swamped and have so much going on, many proposals piled up on your desk from developers. With this being said, I feel this is a major issue. To his defense, if our town planner's that busy and can't take the proper time to thoroughly inspect everything that comes across his desk, then he needs an assistant. We can't expect one person to do what he does, to go out and inspect properties and hold developers accountable. There has to be a better process. Who's supposed to enforce our codes? One man can't do this. There's too many things sliding through without repercussions, which leads me to ask, does anyone know what's really going on with this property? I've been told several times, even by some of you, that this landowner developer likes to ask forgiveness instead of permission. If you know that about him, why aren't you being proactive instead of allowing someone to come into Weddington and do what they want with little to no consequence? This man states he's done business here before, which makes me wonder what he's gotten away with. We've already dealt with him back in May when his work was stopped due to not having permits. I've called the NCDEQ today because more than an acre has been cleared with no erosion or sediment measures in place. This is major due to the existing wetland on the property and creek running behind. What about the potential protected canopy as huge trees, some a couple of foot in diameter, have already been cut down? You're setting a precedence with other developers. Lastly, I've heard so many times, even at these meetings, that we're going to be sued. We can be sued. We can be sued. Please have a backbone and stand up for Weddington. Anyone can be sued, but as our elected officials, if you fear being sued, we've already lost. I'm just asking that you do your jobs.
Thank you, Wendy. Kim, Pauline?
I think I'm good.
You good? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Is it Lynn Devaney? Okay.
They won't work big trucks in that spot this weekend.
Hi, I'm Lynn Devaney, 7503 Strawberry Road, Summerfield, North Carolina. And I drove down here today to thank you guys, the citizens, the council, the mayor, everyone for supporting Summerfield with your resolution to fight against de-annexation. We right now have lost that. We're looking at if there's constitutional issues that we can fight against the General Assembly. I can't speak much more on that, but that's kind of where we are. We're making sure all options are being fought because we do believe that this is a precedent that is not only with our town, but your town and towns across North Carolina. I'm also here to perhaps extend a hand, as you probably heard people talk in the General Assembly when we lost the vote the first night, that we were called a paper town. We collect taxes, but we don't do anything for our citizens. That's crap. We do things. We are like you. We have a small staff, and we're going to continue to have a small staff. But we do things for our citizens just like you, and perhaps we can work together to prevent this paper town being stuck to us, because I really don't believe that we are. And I will ask any questions, be here for you guys. I can leave some business cards. But again, I just really appreciate the backup that you gave us at the General Assembly. And I feel that we need to work together going forward. One last thing, vote Michelle Morrow. She doesn't even know who I am. I've met her through Moms for Liberty and different functions, but she is running for North Carolina superintendent. I'm a school teacher at an elementary school in Summerfield Elementary, and she speaks the truth. She does what she says she's going to do, and when I hear her speak, she speaks my language, and she tells it like it is, and she tells what's actually happening in the schools. And I see it every day, all day long. I'm K through 5. So, and I'm the computer teacher. I see every kid in that school every day. So anyway, but again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thanks for the time tonight. And I can just leave some cards for you guys, or
Okay.
somebody else is here to speak after me.
Great.
But
Thank you. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Also gave me a chance to see my daughter who lives in Rock Hill. It's her birthday today.
Good. Okay. Okay, we're going to move on while you're doing that. And public safety, Officer Wren, come on down.
There's one thing I remember from 5th grade: you never interrupt a teacher. She can stay up here as long as she needs or wants. Mayor, council, thank you so much for having me. Public, thank you so much for showing up. We really appreciate the support, as always. From the month of August, we really dramatically decreased a bunch of numbers for accidents to include severe accidents. We went from 25 to 20. So in July, we had 25 major. We only had 20 this month. So in alarms, we went from 52 to 39. Business checks also had a little bit of a decrease because they thanked and appreciate the services during the summer. So we went from 52 to 38. Careless and reckless driving went from 11 to 3. That includes calls, and that includes self-initiated police activity. Domestic disturbances, as you can imagine, went from 9 to 3. Traffic stops took a little bit of a decrease from 133 to 107. Numerous different reasons. I'll let your imagination go from there. So we went from a total of 1,036. So that was August. Compared to July, it was 1,098. Thank you, Mayor.
Cool. Thank you, Deputy Wren. That's the shortest I think you've ever been up here. So,
Well, now I want to, before you step away, I want to say thank you to your guys for the increased presence, at least on this stretch of Providence Road, because
Yes.
I have certainly seen more deputy cars out there. I've seen more people pulled over. And as a matter of fact, this morning I saw a highway patrolman that had backed up and he was facing this way, but he was down there just past, where the entrance to Hunter Farm is. And he was watching for people coming up. So hopefully the numbers that you're showing of the wrecks going down and the stops going down, maybe that's a part of it. People are becoming more aware of what you guys are doing to enforce it. And I appreciate that.
Yes, definitely.
The famous saying is, if the lights come on, somebody's got to pay the bill. I don't think that's going to apply here all the time.
Right.
And we say that because we really do want to educate as much as possible. Along with that, that does include the high school cranking back up. So our SRO, Deputy Byram's really stepped up for his driver safety. A lot more kids are being cognizant, believe it or not. I know that seems like an oxymoron there, but they're doing a great job compared to either years in the past, or they're doing a better job with all around safety. We've been extremely fortunate to get the right people at the right time. With that being said, as far as the Highway Patrol, they're coming out and playing in traffic with us. There's no way to ifs, ands, or buts that. But we really do appreciate it. Like I said, we're relocating some traffic trailers, getting out there at different hours. We've had a good way to set up a new algorithm to figure out when we need to be out there and how we need to be out there. We need to be out there in a high presence, turn on the lights and things of that nature. So it's your feedback that's really helped us get to where we need to be and where you want us. Thank you.
From my perspective, whatever you're doing, please keep doing it.
Well, thank you so much. It's your support that gets us out there.
I want to thank you because I've seen y'all's deputies at different places, which I think is very important to keep everybody in the town honest, because I've seen them in places I hadn't seen them before. And I've also seen deputy run a number of times patrolling neighborhoods.
Yeah, I apologize about that. I have a face for radio.
I think patrolling neighborhoods is a great thing. You know, the old sheriff working around a neighborhood is a good thing to check on and make sure somebody isn't doing something bad in the neighborhoods, because we are not far from a lot of crime. So thank you.
Oh, complete opposite. Thank you for having us. And we appreciate being the buffer to whatever you are alluding to, sir.
How about right up there?
No comment. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you again.
Great. Thank you. Consent agenda. This is the consent agenda for the last, for the minutes for the last council meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor? Unanimous, okay. Old business, there's no old business. New business. Looking at the text amendment 2024-04. It's for the UDO section D 703E, it's the lot and building standards table for RCD. We're going to open up public comment at this time, or a public hearing, I should say, at this time for anybody. Public hearing is open. Remember, you have 3 minutes, and first one we'll call is Chad. Come on up, Chad.
Thank you. I would just like to say I advocate for the 20,000 square foot average lot size with 18,000 minimum. If you look at the RCD neighborhoods, the houses are larger of what's moving into Weddington, and many of them are wanting to do outdoor living with pools and other things, and they're running out of space in there. That we can raise the lot size. We still have the 50% conservation space, and still be able to have some more for the residents of what they want to do on their own property. This avoids us of some of the cases of where we've got 60, 70% conservation land, and then we're going much smaller on the lot size. As part of that, to keep the character of Weddington, I think we need to have front setbacks should be 40 feet. I feel like that gives more open space. It gives you more space on your driveway if people have to park more than one car there. And then also, I think we should look at 15 feet on the side. So by the time you put a fence and a privacy hedge potentially, that would allow access on both sides of your yard to be able to get in if you've got mowers or anything else getting into your backyard.
Cool.
That's all.
Great. Thank you, Chad. And I apologize. Is it Cameron Scott?
And I apologize because I'm not really sure if this is the appropriate place to talk about the project that's currently set for 7112 Newtown Road and the rezoning. If that was more, I know Walt talked a little bit about it. He attended the meeting. That was more appropriate for the public comments
This is more
as
public,
opposed
this is the public hearing for the upcoming,
zoning restrict. So that's why I didn't know where.
yeah, you should have
supposed to
been
speak
earlier
for
in
the
the
public
earlier.
comments. Okay, so my apologies on that.
So, okay, but thank you
No
for,
worries. Thank you.
thank you. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's my misunderstanding. Ask for some clarification.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, though. If that's everybody, we're going to close public hearing at this time. We're going to go into discussion of consideration for this. And just as, pardon me?
Yes. Greg has a presentation.
Okay. I was going to do it, but go ahead.
No, I'll keep it brief, Mr. Mayor, and let you add on. Just for clarification and for information for this council and members of the public, this is a consideration to amend the text of section D 703E, which is our lot and building standards table. Effectively, is not to overcomplicate it. This is the lot size and lot dimensions for RCD conservation developments. In essence, open space developments where in exchange for smaller lot sizes, 50% or more of open space should be set aside. Enclave at Baxley is probably the most recent example of this type of development. Through discussions of the town council and then subsequently the planning board, there was some consensus that the existing standards don't quite meet the aesthetic or the character that the citizens of Weddington are looking for in their housing developments. These have been effective measures to preserve open space, but they gave an appearance of being too close together or not matching the large lot sizes that Weddington is known for. So the planning board met twice regarding this matter. They did agree that the lot sizes need to be increased from their existing 12,000 square feet. And there was discussion, but not necessarily consensus on that size. Staff provided 3 options to provide that consensus of what the approximate lot size should be and how we could increase the standard. One was to mirror our RE was to increase average lot size to 18,000 all future subdivisions to average at least 20,000 square feet lot size. So to create a larger range of lot sizes in the development itself, and to amend the setback requirements from the 5 that was listed to 12. That 5 was just a little too close in terms of fire code and hard to enforce from a planning staff perspective on houses to one side or the other. So a more consistent 12-foot was listed. The front setback would not change, but a larger backyard was added to this requirement. As people have noted, we have a lot of accessory dwellings, accessory structures, pools going in people's backyards, and that's caused concerns about erosion control and stormwater flow. And so we actually are creating larger backyards in this text amendment to accommodate some of these developments that are going in people's backyards.
So correct me if I'm wrong, the planning board, they sent through 20,000 as average, minimum 18. So meaning if you build a house on an 18,000 square foot lot, then you're going to need to do a 22 in order to average that 20, correct?
Correct.
I think what they said also was 20 on the front setback, 40 on the rear, and 12 on the side, getting rid of the 30 that we have now, which pulls the houses potentially closer back together, sort of defeating what we have, the purpose of what we're doing. And so my suggestion is, and then I'm going to throw it to the council here in just a second, is to extend that 20 back to 40 and put 15 on the side, whether it be 12 and 18 or 15 and 15, so, and put the 30 minimum back in there. But that would be my suggestion to keep up with what we're trying to do, is spread the houses back out. And so I'm going to throw it over to the council to get you guys to comment on it. Who wants to go first? Ladies? Gentlemen?
What are
That's the ladies one.
You said what? You said the back is 40.
The back
for
is
planning
40.
board, and you want the front at 40?
Personally, my opinion, can't speak for you guys. I'd like to see 40 in the front. I think having the 40 in front keeps cars off the street. Families would have, children driving, kids driving, you have multiple cars, keeps them off the street. And the 15 keeps the wider, minimum of 30 on the sides between structures. You can go down to a 12. If you do 12, then you need to do an 18 over here to keep that 30, or just simplify it and do 15, 15. That's up to you guys. And all of it's really up to you guys anyway.
I'll tell you exactly where I am on this. The RE code was designed for a half-acre lot. It looks good over at Rose Hill. It has plenty of room. Now, the flexibility of going to 18 with a 20 average is fine. RE has 12 and 12 on the sides with a minimum of 30. All we're doing basically is mirroring RE, which is pretty simple is the way I see it. We don't change much of anything. We get off the road. I think these houses being dead on the road, all you're doing is putting cars parking on the street. And too many cars on the street can be a hazard, in my opinion. So if we mirrored RE on the setback side of things with a 30-foot minimum between structures and allowed the 18 minimum with a 20 average, we would accomplish, I think, what we would want to do. That's my personal opinion.
Greg, just a quick question for RCD. You were saying that the current verbiage says 50% or greater set aside for open space and stuff. If we go to this average of 20, are we going to need to change that verbiage? Because if the average is going to be half an acre, regardless, then, I hope I'm asking my question properly here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, Councilman.
Okay.
So yes, this will increase the minimum lot size. Therefore, this is taking away land theoretically that would be set aside as open space. So if we require larger lots, then there will be less open space or less conservation land, as it's called in code, than previously allocated. Folks have mentioned that we've had applications that have sometimes 60% open space. So we can't speak to if it's feasible or not, or if this will eliminate the RCD development standard, or if the developers will no longer use the standard now that the lot size is presumably larger. There's always the opportunity for unintended consequences. And staff, I'll note for the record, staff supports using RCD as an option, and the idea of clustering houses together so we protect the natural environment and provide open space, at least 50% in our developments. But per your point, Councilman, yes, this larger lot size will make it more difficult, and developers will need to be more creative with how they designate open space.
Okay. Well, basically, I've got no problem with the 18 and the 20 average. But specifically to what Greg just said, the more we start mandating this size, and they're getting bigger and bigger for the lots, we are reducing the amount of space that's available for conservation. And, obviously when a developer comes in, we've got rules about how many trees you can cut down and things like that. But once you buy that lot and you're on it, you can cut down whatever you want. So because there's been comments here at the podium and otherwise about we want to preserve our trees. We're very proud of the tree canopy we've got here. So again, I believe that the planning board and Greg have put forth a good proposal. I'm fine with it, but we just need to be aware, like he said, the unintended consequences here as we keep incrementally going down this road. What are we going to be doing something we don't intend to do? And that's where I'm at with it.
I don't think there's going to be any more incrementalism to it, because you can't do anything larger than this and still keep the half set aside.
Right. Because it still holds.
I'm personally willing to say we may lose 5, maybe 10% of set aside land to have aesthetics of neighborhoods fit with the rest of the community. That's where I sit.
Again, like I said, I don't have a problem with the
there's no
resolution.
way to if you do creep, there's no way to creep beyond where we're going to.
But we are, you know, 5 years from now, we may say, well, we need to make the setbacks bigger again. We need to make, it's, like I said, it's a slow process, but, you know, but we'll just have to see where it leads us. But again.
Okay. Darcy and Brennan?
So my only question to you, I don't live in a neighborhood, so I don't have really an understanding of space. If the front setback, the rear setback, and the side setbacks, which is most important? I mean, I heard the reasons, and I know the family. Do you have 6 cars in your family? Are you gonna have a lot of outdoor space in the rear?
Right.
I get all of it is relative, but to accomplish what we're trying to do, what is the most important? Or is it all equal?
I
It's
personally
a
think,
balancing act in the
Yeah.
whole thing. It
Yeah.
is a balancing act. And I go back to RE as the general concept because it has worked and provided good neighborhoods.
And the RE had the 40.
And it has the 40 front, 40 rear, 12 sides, 30 minimum between. In those neighborhoods that we annexed, because they were not built that way in the town, they were annexed, are nice looking neighborhoods on a half acre. They're built the way I would envision a conservation half acre development be built. The only difference is there's no half the land to set aside. And that's the way I look at it.
Mhm. Oh, you good?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
as good as I can be on it.
Okay. Brandon, you have a comment?
I'm not opposed to what's listed in terms of what came from the planning board as the recommendation. I don't feel overly compelled to change the front setback. And I think that the 12-foot as came from the planning, I don't know, that is fine. 15 feet is what goes in a traditional, and this is a conservation. And I will say, looking through some of the variance applications, I do think a deeper backyard is a good idea. We get variance application over and over and over again, and it's pull. So
Yeah. And they're on 12 and
put the
15,000.
space in there so
They're in
that
12 to
we're
15,000
not
square
doing
foot
these
lots.
variances, give them the space, allocate it, so that it's there, and there's still, a little bit of dirt to absorb some rainwater and stuff. But what came from the planning board feels comfortably adequate to me.
Okay. Do we have a,
I'm gonna make a motion.
okay. so I
And
was
y'all
gonna ask.
can vote it up or down.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion that we adopt the RE setbacks with an 18,000 square foot minimum lot, 20,000 square foot average, and 30 feet between structures.
And you said 12 minimum?
It's
So-
12 on the sides, 40 back, 40 front, 100-foot minimum lot, which is what RE is. I wish we had the chart up. It was in our package.
Yeah.
That would show this. It would be helpful. But we're just mirroring what we have already, and it works.
Right.
And that's my point in this. It works. And I really believe we need to have bigger setbacks in the front to make a neighborhood look like it belongs in Weddington.
Correct. So, looks like you're about to say something?
Again, how does this differ, Greg, from the setbacks that were in the package from the planning board as far as the front and the sides?
Yes, so the recommendation unanimous by the planning board was to keep the front setback at 20 square feet, or 20 linear feet, excuse me.
Right.
The thought process there was that 20 feet's the approximate size of a car for a parking space.
Mhm.
So it still provides a setback that can provide front yard parking and driveway access. But the backyard was more valued by the planning board when making the recommendation than the front yard. And so the 40-foot was recommended to have larger backyards, but to keep the front yard setback as is for that purpose, that,
Okay.
the backyard was more important.
So with RE, the RE
You have
originally,
both.
it has 40 originally, so they've shortened in RE.
Yeah.
So I don't understand.
They're keeping what the current code calls for the front setback, right?
Correct, yes. And RE was an option by the planning board. That was option A or option 1 for their consideration. That helps set the determination of the compromise that board made.
Okay.
But option C was ultimately recommended.
When you increase the average lot size, you allow for that backyard space to be there, even if you have the front yard space required. You have room for all of it to fit. It isn't like it's either or. There is, in an 18 to 20,000 square foot lot, room for 40 in the back and 40 in the front and 12 on the sides with the 30. It fits.
Now,
It is not one or the other.
now the setback is the minimum. That's, I
Minimum
mean,
setback.
they could still go in and put a bigger setback if they wanted to.
That is
Correct.
true. This
They
is
can have
the
a bigger
minimum.
backyard if they want.
No. So in other words, the 20 feet would even give them a bigger backyard if they wanted it. Is that not true? And again, I've been hearing from the podium and everything else that, hey, we're getting people moving here that want pools and they want outbuildings and they want patios with grills and that's all in the backyard. That's not in the front yard.
Jeff, I agree that a 20-foot setback
That's
minimum is going to allow for some creativity and some opportunity.
That's what I'm saying. It's the minimum. It's not saying that they have to, that they will put it at 20 feet. That's just the absolute minimum for them to put it.
I think that you're probably going to find very few, if the minimum's 20, that go up beyond that because it's expensive to build a
Because
driveway.
they don't want
So-
to put any more concrete in the ground between the road and the house. And if you go up and look at the enclave in Baxley, I think it is hideous. And
Yeah.
that is what that is.
Who just said that there's one car that fits on 20?
That's correct.
One
That's about the
car?
size of it.
So the standard parking space for Weddington for UDO is 9 by 20 parking
Yeah.
space.
Because the problem with that is that most of these homes have at least 4 cars.
Yeah, they'll have a 2 or
And
3 car garage
they're-
and room for one in the middle, and anything else goes on the street.
Yeah.
Right.
That is the truth.
Hopefully people utilize their garages.
Well, I think
They
even
turn
if they
them
do, you're
storage.
still putting 1 or 2
They
cars
turn
on the
them into
street.
sheds.
Shed storage, units.
Well, I think having the flexibility there, again, I completely understand what you're saying. But again, it goes back to what I was saying before. We are getting to the point where we're pretty soon, every house is going to look exactly the same. It's going to have this setback and this setback. And I just think that, for me personally, the 20 is a minimum. That is not a mandated distance that what they're going to have to use.
But to say what Darcy just said, if you go with that minimum, they will go with
They
that
will go
minimum.
to it.
They will, because
And
it's.
the
It's
houses
done
will be
in
almost on the
every
street.
development
Can
they
we,
have done.
if we make it to be, say, 40, for example, then can we modify that on a case basis, or is that the law?
Well, we're conditional anyway. So, but
If
we
the
need to set,
developer comes and asks for it, we could say yes. So, I mean, it could be a situation where a developer says, we want a 20-foot setback, and we say, we would like a sidewalk. We will give you 20-foot setback if you will build a
So
sidewalk. and
I
maintain
think
it.
then the case is you make the case for 40 then we have a lot more flexibility to do different things that we need as a town. Like
Mhm.
that one neighborhood,
right.
Any further
Any-
discussion?
More discussion. Do we go with your motion?
Well, I've made a motion. We need
Okay.
to vote on it.
So the motion on table is setback 40 in front, 40 in rear, 30 between structures,
12
with a
and
12
20.
minimum, meaning if you have 12 on this one, you're going to do 18 over here to keep that 30 distance between the two. So of course, 20,000 square feet average with a minimum of 18. So if you go to 18, you're going to do one at 22 to make the average. So just make sure everybody's okay on that or understands that. Can we get a vote on this?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay, all in favor of what's on the table? Okay, there's 2 to 2. And I'm going to, pardon me?
You got to ask them to vote.
Ask for the no vote.
They
Okay.
have to-
Okay, all against it for the no vote.
Aye.
Okay, so there's 2 for and 2 against. So I'm going to be the tiebreaker in this by powers invested in me. I'm going to vote as with Tom and Darcy here, to approve this as the motion that's on the table. So the motion stands. Okay. All right, so let's move forward.
Mayor, we need to do a motion to approve the statement of consistency and reasonableness that as provided in the staff report.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
We'll need a motion to approve a statement of reasonableness and consistency as provided in the staff report.
So is that on this, or do we just do that?
That's a motion that we have to make to finish up this text amendment.
So we have to make a motion that,
to approve the statement,
to approve the statement as it complies with the
staff report.
staff report.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve this?
We already had it. I made a motion.
You made a motion, so all in favor?
Uh,
Okay, and again, I'm going to do the.
Well, he's got to, they
Well,
got to vote no.
Well, I thought we were going to have to read the.
It's in the staff report,
Oh,
so we
oh,
don't have to read it out.
oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
Yeah,
Is your mic on?
it is.
But
Okay,
you have to ask it in the vote, yes or no.
Yeah. so all against this or vote no on this?
Yeah, I mean. yeah, that's-
Okay, so again, I'm going to be a tiebreaker and vote in favor of this. So with Councilman Tom and Darcy. So, all right, so we're good on that? All right, so
You're down to B.
yeah, okay, so we're looking for a discussion and text amendment for section D 917A. It's the elimination of the 50-foot buffer in the UDO, requiring the option for only option for the 100-foot buffer. And again, remember, we are conditional zoning, and just because we say 100 foot, we can always, as Councilmember Brandon said earlier, we can always negotiate, with those type things. So what we're doing is we want to eliminate that 50 option. We'll go for the 100. We always have playroom. We can always negotiate that down if we want. But I think the idea is for developers to go with that 100 first. It increased the view shed. I think in the past, there's been people who have talked about, the wildlife and protecting that, screening that. If you don't want to go down the road and see somebody's, a 2-story house, they're back of the house for the houses that butt backwards to the street. So I don't see a negative to this. We still have room to negotiate. So anyway, I'm going to open this up for conversation. Who would like to go first?
I mean, so to your point, no one is going to come to us if we say a 50-foot buffer. No one's going to come and say, okay, can I do a sidewalk? But if we do 100 and they need something different so that they can accommodate something that we might need, I'm always a fan of leaving as much negotiation for the town that we can have. So if that means 100 versus 50, then you have to consider that.
Yeah. And it's that example you gave earlier too, for that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be very specific to that particular neighborhood. We're not going to be asking for sidewalks all over the place. Weddington is not really a sidewalk-friendly community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I said it, I know that I said it last meeting. We had the tree expert of Union County come and talk to us, and he talked about identifying contiguous natural areas amongst parcels that abutted each other. And we were talking about how that was desirable for us and how that was intriguing to us. And it would be nice to get some of that contiguous land identified so that we could move some of this natural area into the communities. Because when you put a large buffer next to the road, you end up with a bunch of roadkill on the roads because they make their habitats right next to the road and that 100-foot buffer. So huge drawback from my perspective is the dead animals that are going to be all over the road.
Well, the current UDO gives the builder an option, developer an option of 100 foot, which is standard, or with some screening to do 50. And inevitably, everything that comes to us automatically has the 50-foot option pulled in there. I think I've seen one that has not. They always come with the 50-foot option. And I think just lose our leverage if we don't have the 100-foot. The 100-foot looks good. It does shield the houses. It shields people's backyards from traffic. Yes, it may allow some animals to come by, but if you get the houses farther off the street, the development that you will be a nicer development because you're not jammed up to the road. Now, the only way I'd look at this somewhere different is developers came in and decided to put their interior road closer to the existing road and the houses across the street from it so they didn't back up to the existing roads. But they don't do that. So I look at this as a way to make our neighborhoods better and better for the residents who buy those homes.
I just love to be able to have some sort of ability to save some contiguous trees. And I would love to, if we do decide to do the 100-foot setback, I would love, to be able to make an exception if it means that we save a huge swath of trees. But the reality is the builders are going to do the least amount they need to do. No one cares about the contiguous trees. So you're right. If it says 50, they go 50 and then still ask for more after that. So for that reason, again, I would just like the ability to negotiate. It's really important that, to me, that we can serve as much as we possibly can.
Right. Jeff?
I know we're splitting hairs here, but I'm going to fall on the side of saving more trees, I guess is where I'm at with it. I mean, I look at this as you said, with conditional zoning, and I completely understand what you're saying, Brandon, about the four-legged critters that are going to be hanging out there.
Just trying to make
Trust me,
informed decisions.
I understand that.
We had him come talk to us.
But
I'm not informed on that category.
Again, so I understand completely what you're saying with that, and you're right. I mean, if it's there, that's it's going to be used. But to me, I guess where I'm falling on this side is we're saving more trees,
right.
and that's what
So do you see the way to do that with the 100 or the 50?
with the 100,
Yeah.
because as has been said, if we say, well, we want 100, but the minimum is 50, then we're eliminating the need for them to justify it.
Yeah.
Right.
In other words, if they need
Right.
less than 100, justify it. So when you're making your presentation to the planning board, explain it.
Ask for
And if it's valid, it's going to be a valid reason, and we can conditional zoning it. But making it at 100 starts at this. This is what we want. So that's.
I agree. Any more
Yeah.
discussion on this? Can I get a motion?
I want to make a comment that's really unrelated to this, but it is related, is that we need to look at in the future the idea of berms,
Right.
especially on unforested land, where you have lands that have been fields. Right now, we don't allow any berms, but it seems that berms on fields, developments on a field are positive and would probably keep animals off the road to some degree, or have at least a middle thing that's for another day.
Right.
But we need to get that on the list for the future.
Yeah. And-
But with that, I make the motion, we remove the 50-foot buffer from.
So this is, all you need to do is instruct.
That's right, we're not
staff.
making a
No,
motion
you're not.
tonight. We're
We just
sending it
need
to the
instruct
staff to
Okay.
move it forward. I'm sorry.
Right.
Do we need to vote to send it to staff?
Okay, so
We've
we're,
made our thing.
so we're
Okay.
good. And staff understands removing the 50-foot and going with the 100-foot.
They'll send it through the process.
Yes. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. All right. Moving to the next one. This is section D, 607. This is process step here. Right now we have on our application for the planning board. There's a 15-day, minimum for filling out the application before it goes. This is for the developer till it gets to the planning board. It's not in the UDO. I think I'd like to see it codified in the UDO to get a little bit more teeth. Because I think the staff, if a developer comes in and there's really no teeth in it, then they're going to push it as far as they can. Staff needs time to get all this stuff together, especially as much as we have going on right now, they need that 15 days to pull everything they need together for the application, all those processes. Then you've got to have time to get it on the agenda. So that's taking away some time right there. So I think we need to have that 15-day that's on the application in the UDO as well. So that's where I'm going with this.
Question, Greg. It says 15 days. Does it say working or business days or just 15 days?
It states, Councilman, it just states, occurring at least 15 days after the application has been deemed complete and ready for submission. So it does not clarify or differentiate between.
We need to
working.
clarify it, either business or calendar, whichever way, but we need to clarify. If we're going to send it to staff,
right,
Well,
we need to say
right.
one or the other to be clear.
and I would ask this, Greg, do you think 15 days is sufficient? Do you think 20 days? I mean, or more? I'm just saying, if the purpose of this is to give staff the appropriate amount of time to vet this thing before it's being sent to planning board, is, in your opinion, is 15 days enough, or do we need to lengthen that?
If you go business days,
Or-
that's the main thing.
Well, and again, that's why I'm,
Yeah.
I will
It gives
say
them
that I
3
work
weeks.
in the time frame that I have to get everything complete diligently. So if I have one day to get it all complete, I'll work nights, weekends, whatever is required to make that possible and to have a complete and thorough staff report for our planning board and our council. If the 15 days, some of the calendar deadlines we're looking at here is the agenda was mentioned by the public and the board. So that should be published 7 days in advance. If I have a finalized kind of roll call of projects 15 days prior, it gives me half of that time to put together a staff report and the other half of the time for the agenda to be published and no modifications to be made. So I think 15 days is sufficient.
and are
When
we?
you say 15 days, is that calendar or business? I think we need to be clear because that is very critical.
Well,
in the wording
that's
of
what
these
I was
things.
going to ask.
It gives you more time if it's business.
Karen, are we okay in making this business days, which would eliminate, like if it's a holiday week or something, we're not open on Monday, again, to ensure that there's plenty of
Right.
time. So okay, all right.
And really, we're trying to do it for you guys to help out. So,
Well,
so
then I think the 15 business days,
I'm fine.
would.
Give her time to breathe.
yeah,
That's what I'm
no,
saying.
exactly. Brandon, you have any comments? You good?
I'm in agreement.
Okay. Can you get a motion then?
No, this one doesn't.
We don't need a motion. All right, same as earlier.
I've already screwed that up once.
And
so
I
it's just
and I did it again. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So,
good with that.
all right. So discussion of, and the next one was moved to the closed session. So now we're moving out to discussion of internal staff policies, procedures. This is to limit the developer presentations at planning board and council votes. Personally, I use this as an example, not to pick on Polifka, but Polifka is here for the planning board this past time. And for the ones who were here, we saw how long that took going back and forth, and just that whole discussion of that. I can only imagine what it'd been like. Okay, now you got another one right behind that. So don't want to stress out the planning board or the council. Personally, I'd like to see just one presenter. Now, for a vote night. So if it's council on a vote night, one presenter. Now, if it's council doing a presentation, well, maybe two. We could do two. They're just up presenting to us. I wouldn't want to do three again like we did a few weeks ago. That was tough. And but I'm if you guys decide you want to do one, that's fine. But I think vote night for the council, when it goes for the planning board, just one for those two things, and two max for that presentation to the council. So I'm just throwing out a preference, but this is totally up to you guys. So anybody want to go first on what that should look like? The limit those. That makes sense what I said?
Oh, yeah. Are you looking at me because you want me to start?
Well, you're looking at me like, what do you say?
No, just trying to respectfully wait for you to finish.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I think one is reasonable for both categories.
Okay.
I'm in agreement. One is enough to have, because if you're going to do a thorough job on these things, you need to be focused on one thing staff be focused on one thing, council or planning board to be focused on one thing and thoroughly vet it.
I'm great with that.
Yep.
It's better than what I was.
Yeah.
It's better than what I was even
Now,
imagining.
we're talking about one for the vote, right?
One for the
Then
vote
a
night.
maximum, I would say, is, as you said, maximum of 2 if they're just making a presentation.
Does that work for you guys?
So is it possible we would have 2 presentations and 1 to vote? That's too much.
No, that'd be too much.
That is too much.
If it's a
So-
vote,
But that's what y'all are saying right now.
Maybe when there's a presentation, maybe when there's a vote, you only have 1 presentation.
Yes.
Correct. So 2 people, whether it be a presentation or a vote, just 2 max, whatever that would be. Does that work for
Right.
you guys?
yes.
Unless we can go 1.
I think 1 is, for whatever's happening, 1 is enough.
One,
I
too. Honestly, I
because
think 1 is all we need.
Because for the
any-
vote, if it's being presented for the vote, we've got a public hearing as well, right?
Yep.
So I would say if something's on the agenda for a vote, it's just 1.
okay.
If
Why
it's
don't we
just a
just make it 1?
presentation, if they are just, here to say, hey, this is what we're looking to do, we'll take questions, a maximum of 2. But if it's a vote night with a public hearing and then our discussion of it and then a vote, I think 1 is.
One. And that holds true for the-
We don't need a presentation.
Right.
We don't need a presentation on top of that.
Right.
We don't.
I
we
like
just-
Brandon's idea better. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
I just think it's going to be hard. Like if you were Karen Dewey and a developer calls and says, well, there were 2 presentations last month. Why can't I do a presentation? And,
Yeah.
she has to go through the whole rigmarole of, well, there's a vote tonight, so it's 1. And
Yeah.
Well,
I
okay,
just-
I see what
I mean,
you're
I
saying.
don't,
Okay.
it's
okay.
open to
Just-
discussion.
all
I just,
then-
especially when we had that 3, I just want clear
Sure.
communication.
I think that's a great idea.
When the
Okay.
3 happened,
You're
lines
good.
were getting crossed. I did like a
I
little
see-
bit
I
of the
see what
peer
you're
pressure
saying.
from one community to the other in terms of, things that seemed more desirable. That
I understand
but-
exactly what you're saying now, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
I think,
One,
and
one.
across the board.
So 1 across the board.
1 across the board.
That is my perspective. I'm open to hearing other options. I
No,
just think
Yes,
you
No,
can
please.
equally enforce.
I think you hit it on the head.
Yeah.
I think that's
No, I
too
think that's
much.
good.
Yes, it's too much.
1's enough.
Okay.
1's enough.
So do we need a motion on that or that,
Just directions to staff.
Just draft
what we
the
need to do.
policy.
Draft
direct policy? Yes.
Effective
Okay.
immediately.
Yeah. So that'll be 1 across the board for
Yes.
planning board, for us, for everybody. Okay.
That makes it easy.
So good.
That makes it easy.
Yeah, it does. It actually does. Okay, presentation of, presence of the town attorney at the planning board meetings for, when a developer's here for a presentation. I personally think we just leave it as it is, unless, and I think the staff has done a great job over the years. Like if there's a major thing, town's really, involved, and there's a controversial type issue, then yeah, bring in our counsel. I don't see a point bringing in just every time a developer makes a presentation. Not to demean the planning board by no means, but they're an advisory board, and I would hate to get into if we did especially with all the developers we have in the pipeline right now, having our counsel here every time. I think there could be a possibility we get into budget overruns for just paying for her time. And I think that time needs to be left for counsel to be able to call and discuss things with her without worrying, okay, Karen Dewey, do we have enough budget to pay for this? This phone call, that kind of thing. I just don't want us to get into that if all this rambling makes sense. And so I would prefer us just leave it like it is and have the staff say, hey, this is a controversial issue. I'm going to bring her in for this, but we don't really need her for all the other things. If that makes sense. I want to throw it out to you guys.
No, I think that's fine. I think if the planning board, again, given the extra time, once we get that policy for the, 15 business days,
Mhm.
if in that time, the planning board has a look at it, or Greg or somebody says, we might need the attorney here for this one, that's the way we need to do it. I don't think mandatory presence at every meeting, is necessary.
Right.
I think it would be at the request of the planning board chair would be probably about, not general across the board, but if the chair asks
Or
staff.
Or staff.
Or
staff,
staff,
yeah.
Chair or staff asks, it would then be appropriate.
Right. But not needed every time,
No,
just
no.
controversial issues where a lot of the residents are really, this is, there's,
This is the next Weddington Green.
correct. Yeah, or whatever that may be, that's,
That would be my standard practice for all my towns, is I get called in when something,
It's
either they've got an
controversial.
attorney on the other side, or there is something that there's a known controversy or a known issue with the development or something. That's the only time I attend planning board generally.
Okay.
So a lot of times they do bring their attorneys. I think
Okay.
if they bring their attorney, our attorney should be present. It's the way I always look at anything like
Okay.
that. If they're gonna bring counsel,
so we sort of play, and I'm going to ask you guys, we sort of play it by ear each time and leave it up to the staff as they have been. Do you guys have any input on that?
Just what Ms. Walter offered as what she sees as kind of standard practice is my preference.
Right, and I think that's what we're saying too. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just so staff and planning board know that they are authorized to go ahead and give you a ring and to have me show up. That's helpful so that they don't have to feel like they have to go through council to ask.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think they've been doing that all
Yeah.
along throughout the years. I think Ms. Dewey does that as well. She'll go ahead and, if she knows it's something controversial, she will contact you and have you. Is that correct?
We haven't had you at the
Yeah.
planning board meetings.
But she will.
Yeah, she will.
Mhm.
it will happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we're good with that then.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. We're getting down to the end. Well, never mind. Okay. So the next one, the item is the policy and agenda for when the packets go out to the council and to the planning board. Presently, the planning board should be getting the agenda packet 7 business days prior to their meeting. Okay, the council usually gets theirs, should be getting it, and not usually, they do, on Wednesday, which is 4 business days prior. And I'm throw out a little mix here, so get you guys to talk about this. Then the town, I would like to see the residents not get that go out to the town last minute, that they should get it, I feel, at least by Thursday, into business on Thursday, so they have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday to sort of know what's going on. At least, don't send it out on Friday, don't send it out on Monday, but at least by the end of the business day on Friday. So my question here is to you guys. On Thursday, I'm sorry, thank you. My question here is to you guys, do we keep it the same as planning board 7 days in advance, council is 4, and we make sure the residents get their agenda emailed to them on at least by the end of the business day, or earlier if you can, on Thursday? Or do we go to something in between and say, okay, across the board and make it easier, it's just 5 days for planning board, 5 days for the council, and we still do the Thursday thing? I'm just throwing out a little mix here just to see what you guys would like to talk about.
Does staff know why there was a difference to begin with?
Can I throw something in here
Sure,
from
please.
a staff standpoint?
Sure.
Mhm.
For the council meetings, when, like, this meeting being on the 9th, trying to get our reports done by that Wednesday, when the first of the month is Monday, that gives us 2 days. So if you make that even longer time, it's really hard for us to do. So,
Okay.
That's the packet.
right.
One thing, I guess, is the agenda that notices the public. And that's where I think there's been some rub, is that the agenda comes out very late and people think that we're not giving them proper notice.
Right.
And at the same time, though, we've been criticized because agendas come out and then something has come up.
But we should.
And we've already published it.
We shouldn't change
You know,
it.
so,
They should be only
that's-
minor changes done here.
Yeah.
And we should just set it, and especially we should
Well,
not add any developer type stuff after the thing.
I'm just saying that there are, I'm sure there, are cases that if something comes up that we need to get it on there to discuss it, if it's that important, that, I think we need to have flexibility to do that. Now, I'm all for getting the agenda out as soon as we can. But the balance we're going to have to figure out here is, just like Leslie has mentioned, I don't want to put, we've got a small enough staff as it is.
Right.
And I know many people have said, we don't want more staff, we don't want more whatever. And I don't want to put more pressure on them or give them shorter deadlines to get things done. And that's why I was asking initially, was there a reason that planning board was 7 and council was 4? Do we need to
So since I've been here, the rules of procedure have said that, but the common practice has been, they're basically the same thing. The boards get the packets on the Wednesday before, and I put it out to the public on the Friday to give the boards enough time to review everything. And because if they get questions, I know you're going to want to know where to look for the answers when the residents
Not to
contact you.
throw
about
you under the
stuff.
bus, but technically it's been going out late each time. Because it should be going out 7 days in advance according to
it's-
rules and
right.
procedures, right?
Right, but I don't know if my predecessor did that. I don't, so, and I do know when I first started as well, the packets, the council packets, I think were all sent out on Friday before that changed once I
Yeah,
started
it used to be
too.
Friday
Yeah.
instead of
So,
Wednesday.
Yeah,
so-
that's way too late too.
So,
But my reasoning was putting them out to you all the Wednesday or the Tuesday or whatever before, and just giving some time for the board members to look over everything before it's sent out to the public, if only to give you guys a chance to know what's happening and what's in there when people call and ask you questions. Otherwise,
That's basically a draft agenda that you send out to us and said, here's the stuff that's going to be.
Well,
on
that
it.
goes out a day in advance prior to
Yes.
Wednesday, like on Tuesday.
Yeah, we need, having that come out a day in advance of the final is very important. Because if we see something we want to add, let's
Right.
do it. So when the final goes to the public, unless there is something that comes up, and I mean minor, or something comes up urgent out of our total control, like a trash thing or something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
That we can add,
Yeah.
but not a developer so-and-so
No,
wants
no,
to come
I mean-
and do something.
I'm talking about something that if the town attorney or town staff says, we just got a
We
notice
gotta-
from the
we got-
county.
we gotta do
Yeah.
We
something.
just got a notice from the county, we got to make. a
I just feel
decision
like
on
there are
this,
very few
you know.
we meet once a month. There are
Yeah.
very, 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 very few things that should come up that would
Yeah.
be
Well, there have been here
so
lately.
paramount that they would need to be added after whatever deadline, reasonable deadline that we
And it's
set
al- and by-
for.
it's always there's nothing that's going to prevent you all from amending your agenda. So if there's something
We can
comes
do
up,
it the
you
night
always
of,
can do it the night
anytime.
of,
So
anytime.
is the goal to get the published agenda to the public on Thursday evening, by close of business on Thursday for our Monday meetings, whether it's planning board or town council?
I
Am I
think that
hearing
would be
that?
good.
That's the
I think
goal.
that'd be good practice.
I mean, I guess,
But the current UDO says something.
Right.
different.
Well, what I want to ask staff is,
Rules of
if
procedure.
that is the goal,
Procedures, excuse me.
for the procedure, is to have it published on the webpage so the town, everybody in town can take a look at it by Thursday close of business. Based on your experience, how do we need to back that up into what kind of,
So this
Um,
is the agenda. not
the
packet.
agenda,
The agenda.
not the package, the agenda.
For me, that usually is fine.
Yeah, the earlier agenda's not an issue.
Yeah.
That, okay.
My concern is residents see something pop up on the agenda after it's been published.
Right.
And it's some new developer wants to do a presentation, or they're pushing forward with something. I just don't want that ever to happen.
No.
I want to make sure that doesn't happen. Yes, if we have something minor we need to add, or something really important comes up that's non-development related,
Yeah.
we can adjust on the fly.
So do we just need to direct staff that from now on, instead of Friday close of business, we want agendas for the planning board and council to be published
On Thursday,
on Thursday, close of business?
let me ask you guys this. Are you okay with keeping the planning board and sending it out 7 days in advance and the council 4 days as it is now with that Thursday for the residents? I mean, are you guys still, we got the Thursday down. Are you guys still okay with that Wednesday for us? And I guess it'd be Monday for the planning board,
Pardon me, Mayor, I'm sorry. Are you referring to the packets now?
the agenda.
Just the agenda?
The draft.
Okay.
Draft
Yeah.
agenda.
So sort of keeping it as it is, or I'm just going to muddy the water just a little bit more. Or do you say, all right, let's just make it easy and do 5 days for both. And so it'd be Tuesday for the planning board and Tuesday for the council. And we just know everybody's the same.
I mean, I'm not the individual that prepares this information. I think, does it feel comfortable to have a standard 5 days, or is that a fair question to ask you?
I don't know how you feel about it doing the planning board stuff. I feel like having it the same for both would be.
I mean, that's like I was saying
Yeah.
earlier with the other stuff. If
That
it's
we-
5 days, it's 5 days for
Right.
this and that and that and that. It's always 5 days.
Right.
Or
And if we're missing something from the packet, we can add it on, send it to you, bring it
So
in.
staff would be good with that 5-day standard?
Sure.
Across the
And then-
board?
And then across the board, and then Thursday, close of business, the agenda's published.
Yeah, it goes out to the residents and everybody
Correct.
sees it.
And online everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that, you guys?
Now, do we need to change anything in our stuff to make that work for proper notice of agenda for the public? That's the only reason
I
asked.
could bring an amendment to the rules of procedure so that it's
Okay.
consistent in
Okay.
there.
Yeah,
So
I just
in-
want to make sure it complies.
Yeah, so for my clarification, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. So on Tuesday, this is for us in the planning board, the draft goes out on Tuesday and the final version goes out maybe the next day on Wednesday.
Thursday, close of business.
So we get the final and the residents get the final
the same day.
same day. And that would work. As long as the draft doesn't change much from the final.
Well, that depends on you guys. So it's multiple parts. I've got packets that have all the documents to send to you as well. So Tuesday, I'm getting your input. Or the week before, maybe that's what I'll do. Get your input on the draft agenda. So I can get packets to you. I thought 5 days in advance.
Having
Are
a
they-
the draft
are the-
agenda early is very
Right.
helpful for
Right.
all of us, so we can get the final agenda out Wednesday, Thursday, whatever that time frame needs to be.
So I'm backing up what you just said now, because I think that, to me, the water's a little muddy here a little bit. So the final agenda should go out on Wednesday. We get the draft on Tuesday.
Thursday, close of business.
That's the
Yeah,
final.
instead of- To
That's why I'm
everybody,
saying the muddy, water's muddy a little
final
bit.
is Thursday, close of business.
instead of Friday, close of business. We're giving an extra day for the
Publish to the-
publishing so
for the
that the public has it a day earlier now. for
Okay,
both of
that's
us.
for the public. What
Yes.
about
Let's
us?
just,
for the-
delete that now. Okay, we've got that down.
Yeah.
Thursday before the meetings, published to the public.
Right.
Bam, boom, we got that. So the final, the agenda and the packets for you all. Monday, I'll send you a draft.
Okay.
Tuesday, you get back to me. Wednesday, I have your packets.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yep,
That'll work. Is that good with you guys?
that's it.
And that works good with the planning board as well?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll make
And
it
just,
work.
and now it's standard for both.
What?
Yeah,
Yep.
standing for both. There's no back and forth,
Okay.
and I'm good.
And y'all
So-
will do whatever we need to do to amend the ordinance,
No worries.
procedures,
Rules-
the
rules of
procedure,
procedure.
policy, whatever it may be.
Okay, so the
Good.
water cleared up a little bit.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep,
Thank you,
we're
guys.
good.
Thursday, public. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, so Monday, rough draft.
Tuesday,
won't
the
repeat it.
final. Wednesday, the packets. Thursday, to the public.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, let's move on, shall we? Code enforcement report.
Okay, it's in your packet. I just have to say that I don't think I had a chance to tell you, we had a violator drop off a check last week
That's good.
for paying her fine. So I was like, so just so you know, there are teeth.
Good, okay, thank you.
Well, I hope our code enforcement person understands they need to be serious and get on
He's
with
serious,
business
yeah.
and not just whatever. Code enforcement to me keeps this town as nice as it's gonna be, and we need to be thorough with it.
Yes, I agree. Okay. Anything else to cover with code enforcement?
I don't have anything. Do you
We're
have
good.
anything?
Okay, update from our finance officer and tax collector. Leslie.
You have the monthly financials in your packet. You also have a quarterly update as of June 30th for the ARPA funds. And it shows the balance of June 30th with the passing of fiscal year 25 budget. that entire amount will be obligated for sheriff's contract, deputy contract, so it will be spent and done by the end of December. So.
This year, I mean, this physical year, if we're finished, okay.
So the audit started today, so they were here all day. I never saw her leave.
I saw her leave. I was gonna wave at her, but I thought I'm gonna let it go, just to let.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She will be back on Wednesday. So, also associated with the ARPA, now that we've gotten everything kind of figured out and spent, we passed back when we got the money, a grant project ordinance, and said how we were gonna allocate that money. And we need to amend that to match up with how we're actually spending the money. So that will be on
Next
next
month.
month's agenda.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. Good deal. Cool. Thank you. Updates from town planner, town administrator.
Thank you, Mayor, and council. So a lot going on this slide. It's not too different from the last time this was presented last month on August 12th. The things I would note of record is Ray and Providence. We still don't have an update on that. That's been tabled for several months by the planning board, but there's no status update on that. Nothing to report. Deal Lake, there is no set agenda or no scheduled agenda date for that item. It will not come before the planning board in September. So it's more than likely October. So to clarify, Deal Lake will not be on the planning board agenda in September. That is known by staff and the applicant. 7112 Newtown Road, that had a recent community meeting, its third on Friday. That was in Waverly, so that was an unusual circumstance to discuss whether that was too far as an internal policy in the future. But that was very well attended and more informative than the previous ones. There's no planning board date for that. We're still seeking details like how many parking spaces there would be, if there's going to be a soccer field as was stated, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the primary things. The Polifka property, I would just note that went to the planning board on 8/26 and was tabled. And so that should be on the September agenda for additional discussion. We're seeking information from the applicant.
Be at planning board also.
Oh, correct, yes. So that's the property near the school. They are seeking a planning board meeting on 9/23 this month. They submitted a panel submittal documents today, so those were verified, and that's within 15 days of that hearing. So that Deal Road / Keystone project, Keystone Custom Homes is the builder. That will be at our September planning board meeting, and we'll have additional documentation for that project on our website. If not tomorrow, the next day, as soon as we can. That was submitted today.
Okay.
Greg, relative to their submission today and the decisions that were made at our council meeting this evening, as far as a 50-foot setback versus a 100-foot setback, what is applicable to Keystone on Deal Road?
They have, met with staff, met with some elected officials regarding kind of our expectation of a 100-foot buffer. So I think they're aware that 100 foot is what we're looking for moving forward. Some of the changes we've recommended tonight, I think were understood by that applicant as going to be the future standard. Submitted is grandfathered.
Okay.
So they're well aware of the changes that our council made.
Legally speaking, they are entitled to 50 feet?
Whatever's currently in the UDO, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, and just FYI, I talked with the applicant at Newtown Road. And the reason they could not find a place in the city limits, they just couldn't. They called around, they checked different places and could not find any place that would allow that. So that's why they ended up where they're at.
Staff can echo that. It's hard to find a place.
Yeah, it is. It is. And a lot of different churches and people are now just don't want to deal with that. So they had a hard time. That's why they did it.
Chris is going to let us have it at his house.
But we weren't going back to the barn again.
Right, nobody wanted to go back to the location. So, okay, all right. Transportation report. In lieu of time, I don't have much to say on that, and I'll fill you in more later. So we're good with transportation. Council comments. Anybody have any comments? Anybody want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. I'll just thank you to everyone who came out, and I have spent some time thinking about this. I don't know how to put words to it, but we are approaching September 11th. I myself was sitting in one of the public school classrooms here in Union County when that happened, and I guess reflecting on that, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of words to put to it, but it is coming up, and going from one of those classrooms to this small but political position within the big picture of the United States, it is just something to reflect upon.
Cool, thank you.
I just want to make sure people are aware. Every week, every month, someone is thankful. In the last 45 days, have I seen how much professionalism they have to maintain, knowledge of almost everything, how they don't always get treated very nicely. And I'm just really appreciative and blown away at how amazing you guys are.
Cool, thank you. Jeff?
Thank you.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Thank everybody who came out and actually stayed to the bitter end. This was, I'm sure a little agonizing, but September 11th is right up, and we will put some flags across just the street section. Some flags will go up in honor of that, the Rotary Club.
Well, I will just echo several things have already been said. Thanks to everybody that's come out tonight. Thank you to the staff. Darcy, I couldn't have said it better. And because the people in this town have no idea the work that y'all do day in and day out, and what y'all do to make this town run like it does, and as wonderful a place as this is. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then September 11th, yes, I know how my life changed. I know exactly where I was and what I was doing and where I was 2 months later. We all need to remember that. We need to remember the first responders. I saw a picture published today of the fire truck that was going across one of the bridges there in New York, and they said every firefighter on there was lost. So think about that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with September 11th and what Brandon and Jeff said. And I'll say this too about our staff. I find myself, I appreciate you guys tremendously what you do. I find myself getting more protective of you guys because I know you guys are up to your eyeballs and just stuff going on because we are extremely busy. So I want to say publicly, just thank you guys for what you do. And so it's awesome. Thank you. Okay, if nothing else to be said, at this point, we're going to go into a closed session for some items that we need to discuss. And so at this point, we're going to break for 5 minutes and everybody.
I make a motion.